Hey friends, my name's... Why does that look so weird? Hold on. What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti! Welcome to Sunday Q&A. That's better. I know why it looks different, because I hung these guys up instead of the giant, very cool piece of artwork. What's up, yo? I'm putting socks on because my fetuses are cold. Welcome to Sunday Q&A. We are going to talk a bunch and watch a bunch of flight footage from the 2S Walksnail 75mm rig, which is what you were just watching. That was it on the... What color are the... Okay, so that was it on the BetaFPV 1102s. I've finally wrapped up sort of the motor testing between BetaFPV 1102 18,000s, sub 250, the company, 0803 19,000s, and T-Motor 1002 18,000s. I tested all three of them at 75% throttle limiting. I was torn about that. I was tempted to turn the RPM up, especially on the 0803s. But what I saw with the run times, yeah, basically the 803s were not getting as much runtime as the 1102s or the 1002s. And what that means is that they're getting too hot, and to turn up the RPM is just going to make that worse. And so I didn't. I left everything at 75%, and tested all 3 of these, and the results make a lot of sense. And we're going to kind of dive into it here. This is my full-time job. If you want to support me, CiottiFPV.com is the spot to do it. I need to get one more weight on this guy. I literally just came in from flying it. You're going to see that in a minute or two. Probably longer than that. But dry weight on this build that you were just watching it a little bit heavier. The 1102s are heavier. But on the T-Motor 1002s, 35.2 grams. 35.2. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, that's 1 gram heavier than when it has the 803s, and a little more than 1.5 grams lighter than when it has the BetaFPV 1102s. All right, so that all makes total sense. This is, if you had to guess how this motor testing played out, you would guess right. The bigger, heavier motors made more power. The surprise is that, not much of a surprise, but sort of a surprise, is that the 803s did not do nearly as well. I thought that was going to be the motor. But yeah, it did not do nearly as well. In the chat, Spaceman Spiff was first, FPV Toast, Siskel FPV, Mo FPV, Cheatonian Crom, Feigning Goat, Frank Nicholas, V Pro, Northern Tier, Douglas 6, Josh S, Troy Prelog, Morton Upshot, Dave S, K Rowe, Uriel, Anonymous, Everyday with Bruno, Great Scott Timmons, S Cole, 901. What's up, friends? Welcome. Welcome to the madness. Yeah, CiottiFPV.com is how you support me. Join my Patreon. That helps the most. There's a bunch of affiliate links there. There's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me, take advantage of over 8 years of knowledge. There's a Teespring store where you can get some fun shirts, and that's how you support me. Patreon helps me out the most. We've got giveaways coming up, not tomorrow night, but the following Monday is going to be a giveaway live stream. Make sure that you're in there. The $5 and up tier is who's going to be in on the giveaway. So if you're on the $3 tier, you might as well jump to the $5 tier. If you win one of these giveaways, you're going to get at least like $50 worth of stuff. That'll cover your $5 a month for 10 months. So you kind of might as well do it. At some point you'll win, and that'll pay for the couple of extra dollars. So do it, friends. Get in on CiottiFPV, supporting gambling addiction since 2021. There it is. If you want to talk to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV, and it'll light up in orange for me. Don't put a space in there. Type it just like the channel name up here. Is that enough businessy things? Yes, great, awesome. All right, so let's dive into 75mm builds on 2S. This specific one is dragging around Walksnail, but 75mm 2S builds are awesome, and you're going to start to see more of them here. I'm going to do an analog build, and I think I want to do another Walksnail 2S build, just set up a little bit differently. I'm going to, I might pull apart the 75mm 1S build. I just don't fly it. It doesn't fly quite good enough compared to the 2S build. This thing, like, this just flies like a quad. This being the 2S build. The 1S build flies like a tiny whoop. If you know what I'm saying. And I mean, like, it flies okay for what it is, but the whole time you're flying it, it's like, yes, this is a tiny whoop. It doesn't fly like any other FPV stuff. It flies very specifically like a tiny whoop. And I would like to, and yeah, I'm not gonna fly it much if that's sort of the deal. And so at some point I might pull this VTX and camera and canopy off of here. And then I can also test out another AIO. I still haven't really figured out what the perfect AIO is for these 75 mil Walksnail builds. But let's dive in. This guy is 35.2 grams dry. Currently, it is on the T-Motor 1002 18,000 kV motors. Does anybody know if RC and Power has a 1002, 18, or 19,000? I know they have a 14,000, and that at 100% motor limiting would get probably very close to this, but this 18,000 kV rig, let me do the math. Hold on. Here's how you do the math. It's super simple. Where'd the calculator go? You take 18,000 kV and you multiply it by point, and then whatever the motor limiting that you're doing is. In this case, 75. So this is... Oh, no way. I'm down below... I thought I was at like 15,000. Yeah, these are 18,000 kV. Well, cool. Okay. The RC and Power 14,000s would be good then. I am probably going to turn the motor limiting up a little bit with these motors, probably to 80%. They don't have quite enough power, at which point 18,000 times 0.8, there we go, 14,400. So yeah, we're a little bit north of 14,000. Well, hell, that's cool. That's great. Even if Josh S says they have a 19,000 kV. Okay, cool. I know they have a 22,000 kV. I have that on a build back here, on a 1S build. That would be too much. You wouldn't want to go above 19,000 kV if you're going to go 2S. Even at 18,000 kV, it's just like all the power in the world. Those, the 14,000s would absolutely blast on an analog 2S build. You probably wouldn't need any more than that ever. But on these heavier Walksnail builds, it's nice to have a little bit extra. Even though we're motor limiting down, at some point, if I need the extra RPM, it's there. I can motor limit it back up. Whereas if you buy the 14,000 kV motors, like that's it. You're at 100% and that's that. Power's pretty damn good. And you will get a little tiny bit more efficiency doing it that way, but the efficiency is totally fine here. I'm getting over 3 minutes of runtime on this. So what this is a Mobula 7 V3 frame. The verdict is still sort of out on this frame. What is cool about this frame is it's totally plug and play. You don't have to clearance the frame in any way. You just slap it in and away you go. The other very cool frame option is the Mobula 7 V4, but you need to do a little bit of clearancing on this frame on the inside of one of the ducts so that you can get access to the silly little port that this BetaFPV AIO uses for USB. This BetaFPV 1 to 2S, although it says that it's only 1S on the website, but this is the BetaFPV 12 amp version 3 ELRS AIO, F4 AIO. And they don't use a USB port on the bottom, which is great for this Mobula 7 V4 frame because it holds the battery up really high. You have to modify this frame. You have to cut out the battery mounting posts that are on the top. You leave the bottom ones and you cut the top battery mounting posts out. Do I have another one of these frames to show you the difference? I sure do. Here's what one of these frames looks like stock. And so what we do for 1S is we actually strengthen these top battery bastards. But for 2S, we cut them off. And what happens is the top of the battery sits against this piece here rather than sitting on these supports. See how the support is up higher than this guy? So in this setup, you can run a USB on the bottom. This support is even with, there you go. There you can see it. Those top battery supports are even, well, I mean, they're a little bit higher than the USB port. But with this USB-less build on the bottom, you can cut those guys out. And then, like I said, the battery sits here. Look, ready? So the battery sits right in there like that. And you see the battery sits on top of that little piece, right? And so what this frame does that's really cool is it pulls the battery up. Look at the difference in where the battery sits between these two frames. All right, so let's pull them off the end of the desk here. So if you look down there, the battery is tucked up really high on this frame, whereas on this, the battery is pushed down farther. Look at the difference. Well, it's kind of different. This frame here has the motors set down really low. And what can happen on the V3 frame is the tips of the propellers can hit these little duct supports here. Because, see, the duct is up a lot higher. The V4 frame, see how much more shallow it is? So the V4 frame works better with these 1002, 1102, 2mm tall motors. This Mobula 7 V3 frame, if you're going to run these 2mm tall motors, what you actually need to do is, I mean, you don't have to, but you kind of have to. You got to use these BetaFPV risers. There's a little motor riser in here. It comes with the BetaFPV Meteor frames. Kind of annoying, if I'm honest, but it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, those are your options in frame. The Mobula 7 V3 frame, if you're going to run a 2mm tall motor, you got to get a little bit of a spacer in there to lift the motor up. If you run the V4 frame, you've got to cut those upper guys off, and then you absolutely have to run an AIO that doesn't have the USB port on the bottom. With the V3 frame, you can run whatever, because it has room for the actual USB port down there. So that's the difference in frame here. Motors that I've been testing are T-Motor 1002 18,000, BetaFPV 1102 18,000, Sub 250 803 19,000 kV. And so that's the main thing that I kind of want to talk about is the motor testing, because I think I'm good to go. I've tested these motors twice now. I've gone round the horn on these motors. I did the T-Motor 1002s first, then I tested the 803s, then I tested the Beta 1102s. A little bit of time went by. I flew it again a bunch on the 1102s, went to the 803s, and now today went back to the 1002s. And here are the results. From smallest to biggest, Sub 250 803 19,000s. All of these motors were on 75% motor limiting. The batteries are these awesome little Tiny Whoop BT 3.0 300 mAh2S Johns, as we said up in the Northeast. So 803 19,000s. I saw in the OSD unloaded full throttle 48,000 RPM was the highest I saw. 2 minute and 50-second runtime, 34.4 grams dry. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Here it is. Isn't that helpful? Let me do this, though. These are all out of order. Hold on. Take this one. you. There you go. Smallest to biggest. So 48,000 RPM on the 803s. When I jumped up to the 1002s, I only saw 49,000 RPM. I thought that I would see more than that, but look at the runtime. Even though it's heavier, it's got more runtime, which means the 1002s are running cooler and they're running more efficiently. And I'm okay with with cranking up the motor limiting on these T-Motor 1002s. So I can get the RPM up to 50, 51, 52. I think I want to be at like 51 or 52. But look at these, the BetaFPV 1102s, man. These are crazy motors. 18,000 kV, 51 to 53,000 RPM, even with the 75% motor limiting. The only problem with these motors is that they're heavy. These are the motors that are on the lighter weight frame. These are on the V4 frame, which I think is a gram lighter. And so I believe this 36.88 grams dry would actually go up to 37.8 or so. So even though I really like the power on the BetaFPV 1102s and the fact that the extra stator volume is allowing them to really push the propeller up to a higher RPM, and we've got the basically the same sort of runtime, I don't love the weight. I think I like the T-Motors the best out of these three. Okay, so Chris Rosser has done some Tiny Whoop motor testing, and he has found that the T-Motor Tiny Whoop motors, they're not the best. The KV has been way off, and like the power that they produce has not been great. I have a funny feeling that if we did an RC and Power 1002, it would make more. I think it would be closer to the BetaFPV 1102, and it would maintain this lower weight, potentially like 2 grams lighter. So I'm gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to test the RC and Power 1002s. Those might be the God motor. I have a set of them in 14,000 kV on one of the tiny lifters, but I have soldered the Newbie Drone JST 1.0 plugs onto it, and I'm not going to undo that. So, yeah, that's fine. I'll have to order a set of the RC and Power 1002s. But this is the motor testing here, friends. This is... The way that these motors feel in the air is perfectly reflective of this. The 803s do feel a tiny little bit lighter. The 1002s are absolutely the best all-rounders at the moment, and I feel totally comfortable turning up the RPM limiting because of the runtime. But then the BetaFPV 1102s are just grunty bastards. Like, they just rip. And you don't really sacrifice much runtime. These BetaFPV 1002s, 1102s that I'm testing, these are the older ones. The old 1002s look like this. They look like this. All black, kind of old school. These motors have been out for a while. This is what the new 1102s look like. There's a chance that these new 1102s, this KV is obviously way too high for 2S, but there's a chance that these new 1102s are lighter. The bell design looks a little bit lighter there, you see? And what I do know is that on the 1S rigs, that I've compared the new BetaFPV 1102s to the RC and Power 1002s, the 1102s are less than a gram heavier. So the new BetaFPV 1102s are a really good option. They may very well be the best option, but I really want to try to preserve the lightweightness of this 2S rig, mainly because I'm worried about the durability. And so I'm going to stick with 1002s for the moment. At some point, though, I think BetaFPV makes... So when you go to BetaFPV's website, what a better way to get there than to come on over to CiottiFPV.com and click my BetaFPV affiliate link here. You might as well. I mean, you can also change your bookmark to BetaFPV with my affiliate link. That's an easy way to not have to think about it. Brushless motors. Where are the 1102s? There they are. So let me take a quick look at the KVs. Whoa, okay. Have they discontinued these other ones, or are they just out of stock? What's going on here? Well, yikes. What's going on? So they've got the 1102s in 18,000 kV, but they say black, which might mean that they're the old school ones. Oh no, here's the old school ones here. Okay, so I think they do have the new design that's potentially a little bit lighter in the 18,000 kV. They also have 14,000 kV. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like you can get them. Let's see. Let's just do this. Okay, so that's 22,000. We don't want those. Yeah, here we go. This is the new design. The new design also comes in this light blue and chrome. And okay, so that's 22,000. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is the newer design. So this might be the motor to get. They are shockingly lightweight. Here it is in 14,000, and then here. Okay, so they have the new motor design in all of the KVs. So yeah, if you want a little bit more of a grunty motor, this BetaFPV 1102 18,000 is your best bet. I mean, hell, with that extra stator volume, if you're really worried about runtime, you might be able to go down to these 14,000s and be totally fine. I'll still stick with the higher KV though. Just for the freedom to move the RPM up and down. If I run like a lower pitch prop, like the new HQ props, I might want the extra RPM. Although I have a funny feeling that those new HQ props are the fact that they're more fragile is going to become a real big problem. Kevin J, just another Kevin FPV with a $20 super chat. Dude, thank you so much. He says, hello, Ciotti. Happy Sunday, bud. Thank you, dude. Super generous. Very, very generous. So yeah, there you go. What questions do you guys have about the 2S Walksnail testing? Let me start putting the flight footage on. I kind of wanted to talk over the flight footage, but I got all carried away. Man, this shit is running terrible again today. Oh, there it goes. I think it was just running bad a second ago because I was launching this software. Hold on. These have the stupid... Well, you know what? I'm going to leave the OSD on. I was about to start deleting the OSD, but I'm going to leave the OSD on OSD on so that you guys have a little bit of OSD. So the first battery here is in the clear frame, which means this is BetaFPV 1102s. So BetaFPV 1102s first, you guys can check out the runtime, all the good things. These are all being run on the exact same batteries. Yeah. There we are. I am super, super, super happy with how this thing flies, even on the 803 motors. 2S is almost certainly the way. On these 75mm rigs that are trying to drag around a separate board, the extra 6 grams of the Walksnail really hammers the hell out of 1S to a point where I just, yeah, it's just not. you're very obviously flying a tiny whoop outside, whereas this, I'm just flying. I'm just ripping around outside, just having an absolute blast. BT 3.0 is great. These tiny whoop batteries are just absolutely perfect. And then you get to pick which frame you sort of go with. So again, this is the heaviest setup, but also on the most powerful motors. BetaFPV 1102 18,000s scaled down to 75% motor limiting. I believe I'm turning up the D gain right now. I wish that Walksnail would give us the regular OSD. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It's so annoying. Like they don't have a clean video output, and so you can't use Walksnail for live broadcast, which is a super shame. Because it has the goggles baked in OSD in there. Oh, you know what I was changing was the midpoint on the throttle expo. So you can't get proper clean video output because it has the stupid goggle OSD. But then the DVR is clean, which is kind of okay. But having I would rather have the OSD and then be able to turn it off with a switch like I do on analog. But hey, we can't have it all. All right, so I'm making another change. So one of those changes was dialing in the throttle expo midpoint. The other change was adding D gain. I don't know which one I did first or second, but here you go. Does the OSD down the bottom help at all? I will say, having the extra power absolutely makes it harder to fly in real close proximity in the bushes here. I have not like optimized the throttle midpoint and the amount of throttle expo, and once I do, that will definitely help here. But whenever you have extra power, whenever you add power, you have less throttle resolution no matter what. You can get some of that throttle resolution back in a certain range by using the expo, but less power is always going to be easier to fly in really, really, really close proximity. So, like, if I was only going to fly this rig really small and around in the little garden there, the benefits of 2S would not be as big. But as soon as I go full throttle, as soon as I throw it up over the roof, as soon as I play up in the trees, as soon as I do a big dive, 2S just becomes amazing. Like rocketing up the side of the house here. 2S is absolutely magic for that. Also, like when I'm turtle moding it on the ground, especially right now with all these leaves, oh my god, 2S is the jam. It has plenty of power to push like a leaf that's on top of the tiny whoop out of the way. Look at that. Like, look at this power. Ready? Full throttle off. Look at that throw, dude. Come on. That is 2S right there. 1S will not do that. It will not generate that kind of upward momentum for that big of a throw. Yeah, 2S is absolutely awesome. And it's not much heavier. I think it's like, I mean, depending on which motors and which frame you run, it's roughly like 2 grams heavier. These 300 mAh 2S Tiny Whoop BT 3.0 batteries are magical. They are very, very, very lightweight. So again, this is the heaviest setup, but it's still the main thing that's making flying around in these trees difficult right now, I remember, is not the all-up weight of the rig. It's the amount of power this thing has. And again, we can motor limit that down. We can throttle expo that. We can get that under control. I have not optimized that yet. I've got the throttle expo set really, really, really low because I knew that I was going to be bouncing back and forth between motors, and I didn't want to constantly have to be adjusting that midpoint. So I put it really low. I think it's only on like 0.2, which is practically nothing. And yeah, I do like one quick pass at moving the midpoint. The midpoint was actually pretty close on all 3 of these. It was right around 30%, which it usually is. But yeah, there you go. Let me get caught up on chat while you guys are watching this real quick. VPro says, what's your backup plan for replacing broken Nano 3 since they're not available? Tiny Whoop Pinch? No, the new FXT camera. The Tiny Whoop Pinch does not have the mounting holes that I would like that I like using on the Mobula 6 canopy. So yeah, once I run out of Nano 3s, I'm gonna give the new FXT camera that comes with the Mobula 6 2024 a little bit more attention. I already have one of those cameras on one of the little drift car chasing rigs. The camera looks great. I have heard that it's not the most durable camera. I've not had any issues with mine, but still. Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely not going to be as durable as the Runcam Nano 3 because the lens is going to be hanging out of the canopy. Yeah, I don't know. Like I have a bunch of Runcam Nano 3, so I probably won't run out for a while. But when they do run out, I'm going to start looking around for different canopies because one of the things that I love about the Mobula 6 canopy is that when you pair it with the Runcam Nano 3, it's very lightweight. Once you get away from the Runcam Nano 3, every other camera is significantly heavier, and the Mobula 6 canopy is not like the lightest weight canopy in the world. And so, yeah, with a Nano 3 in it, it is light, but if I have to then put that FXT camera in there, it will not be nearly as light. All right, so now we are on to the gray prop guards, and that means we are flying the sub 250 803 19,000 kV motors. All of these are being flown on GemFan 1610 props, by the way. And so, yeah, less powerful motors. The full throttle feel is just a little bit less. But the one thing that I really do notice with these motors is that after you've gone for full throttle, the motors do feel worse, which means that they're heating up. They're just getting a little bit hot because of the ratio of stator height to width, right? An 803 is 2.66 to 1 width to height ratio, whereas the 1002s are 5 to 1. The 1102s are 5.5 to 1. So having a wider motor, it's going to put more of the motor in the propeller's airflow, and it's going to keep the motor cooler. And a cooler motor will be more efficient. Magnets do not like getting hot. And so these 803s, yes, the all-up weight goes down a little bit. Boy, is this Walksnail doing work in the dark, too, by the way. This was like dark, 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 dark. I like shouldn't be flying dark. But yeah, the Walksnail is awesome in low light. So yeah, these motors are totally fine. If it's all about all-up weight, these motors are great. But again, the problem with these motors is that they are they're going to get hot, and you're going to lose a little bit of runtime because of that if you're using full throttle. If you're just going to cruise around, you'll be totally fine, and these actually might be the motors to go for. But if you're going to hammer like the way that I'm flying here using a lot of full throttle, that was actually really sketchy there. I'm lucky it didn't get hung up in that tree. Or on that branch, rather. Yeah, if you're going to push it and use a bunch of full throttle, the runtime is going to suffer a little bit on the 803s. And they are the least powerful of all three of these motors. So yeah, depending on your flight style, the 803s may or may not be the motor for you. One more battery on the 803s. And yeah, now it's like ridiculously dark. Now the Walksnail is actually starting to fall apart. But again, this is like, yeah, I mean, this is like all the way dark. I probably wouldn't be able to fly anything else in this level of darkness. This is crazy. I mean, you could tell by how bright these lights are on the house, right? Like it's just proper dark out right now. But yeah, these motors did okay. They still felt way better than 1S, but boy, they did not feel anywhere near as good as the 1102s or the 1002s. I kind of purposefully back-to-backed the 1102s with the 803s so that I could really notice as much of a difference as possible. If I had like ramped it up, if I'd tested like 803 and then 1002 and then 1102, it would be less of a drastic difference. But yeah, from the 1102s to the 803s, you could really notice the motors getting hot and just the general like lack of power. And when you look at the RPM that these three motors were able to turn, even in the air, even unloaded, right? Like on the thrust stand, that would have been even worse. This was an unloaded in the air test, which is doing as many favors as possible for these motors. The 1102s, they're all pretty much the same KV. I mean, hell, the 803s are actually a little bit higher of a KV, but the 1102s cranked 53,000 RPM. The 803s were down at like 48. And then the 1002s earlier today were at 49. So yeah, and just the flight feeling that I got from the 803s is like they're maxed out. They're getting hot already. I don't want to turn the RPM. I don't want to turn the motor limiting up that much because it's going to start to really hammer on the runtime. And so yeah, all three of these motors totally work. I'm really happy with the way that this thing flies, but yeah, I've definitely dialed in a little bit and figured out which motors I want to go with, and I'm pretty sure it's the 1002s. But I do want to try. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one of the new school BetaFPV 1102 19,000 and just weigh it compared to these old school ones. And then I'm going to get a full set of the RC and Power 1002 19,000 kV motors. And there you go. And now here's the battery from today with the T-Motor 1002 18,000s. Weird yaw twitch going on there. I think that might be actually in my transmitter, to be honest. I still need to replace actually, I need to replace both gimbals in this transmitter. I don't know what the hell happened here, but yeah. I need to replace the right gimbal for sure. But those yaw twitches are going to be on the left gimbal, and I've seen some really weird shit on the left gimbal in the receiver tab. So realistically, I need to replace both gimbals in my current QX7. This is me adjusting nothing. I was just landing. Oh, I was landing to get the RPM measurement. That's what I was doing. I did a big full throttle blast on the side of the house to let the motors really wind up as high as they'll go. And I just wanted to disarm real quick. So here you go. Here's my current favorite. You know what's funny is these are the first set of motors that I tested on this rig, and I really liked them. And then I went and tried these other two. And I was like, the 1102s are really good, man. The power that they've got. This is also a battery where I was like rushing. This was like 5 minutes before the live stream started. So I was really pushing hard on this battery. And so I may have eaten up runtime just by like hammering this thing around a bunch. These 1002s might run even longer than this. They're right in the middle. Like I said, they're a little bit lighter than the 1102s. So the fact that it's carrying around less weight is going to help with the runtime. But then they stay nice and cool, so you're not losing runtime from the motors getting too hot. So these are currently my favorites. But I have a funny feeling that the RC and Power 1002s are going to be even better than these. And I'll bet that they close the gap a little bit on the Beta 1102s. So we'll see. I don't know. I was really impressed by the 1102s, to be honest. They just felt powerful everywhere all the time. I think that if I turn the motor limiting up a little bit, I remember on these 1002s, I did mess with the motor limiting, and I remember liking them better at 80%. And then what's funny is the 1102s, I'm I moved it from 80% to 75% because they had so much power. So yeah, these 1002s, you're gonna maintain a little bit. You're gonna have a little bit less weight, but you're gonna have to motor limit them a little bit higher. So a little bit of a trade off there. I don't know. It's what color do you like better? Light blue and pink or black and red? To be super honest, that is just as good of a way of choosing between the Beta 1102s and and a 1002, because just like with 1S, both motors are awesome. Hell, this battery even has a bunch of time with Walksnail just draining the battery, and I still got 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I'll be damned. So yeah, bunch of different really good motor options. There it is. There are the 1002s. I'm really blown away at how good that I was testing a bunch of other stuff and I didn't fly this for a little bit, and that was silly. I should have been flying this all along because it's just so good. But yeah, when you fly your rig outside and you crash it in the grass a bunch and it gets all green, take a Q-tip, take some isopropyl alcohol, and clean your shit, man. You slob. Clean it. All you gotta do is put a little ISO on here and then just put it inside the duct. It's like magic. It gets it right off. It helps to go around each duct to get it wet. Shut up. And to let it like seep into the grass and then come back and wipe it off. Just kind of go around real quick. By keeping these things clean, you will see cracks in the plastic and you just won't look like a disgusting man baby. Have pride in your cleanliness. So our family went and voted the other day, and something really shitty happened that I have to tell you guys about because it really bothered me. So we pull up, and a giant black Dodge Ram pulls up behind us and blatantly parks in between two spots, right? And then dude and his wife get out, and they're behind us in line to vote. We do the ballot thing. The last thing, it prints out a piece of paper, and then the last thing that you do is you put that piece of paper into a machine that eats it, right? And so there's a little tiny line to wait between the ballot machines and putting the piece of paper in the final little machine thing. And they had two of those little machines, and they had poll workers all over the place. And so the poll worker is letting one person at a time walk up to the machine, and then they tell you, have you reviewed your selection, blah blah blah. Yes, great. Insert it into the thing, face up. Cool. Super simple. No big deal. Well, when it's these, so I went, and then Maggie and Sage, they took a little bit extra, and the pickup truck douchebag, I'm gonna call him that because parking in between two spots is a douchebag thing to do, especially like when this was not like a wide open parking lot, like this was a packed parking lot, and douchebag man takes two spots, like. So it was me, and then douchebag man and his wife. His wife was in front of him, behind me, and then Sage and Maggie back there. They call me up. They call her up. Douchebag gets all upset, and he says, "I need to stand behind her. We're in a hurry." And the poll worker is like, "No, what are you talking about? No, absolutely not." She does her thing, puts it in the machine. And then douchebag man comes up and does his thing. What he was trying to do was look at her ballot. Because then when they left, I heard her say on the way out to their stupid ass pickup truck, I heard her say, like, I think it was like nope is what she said, and then he got super pissed. So he was trying to look at her ballot to see who she was voting for. How scummy is that? So that was my voting experience. Um, I've heard of this happening. I've heard of like husbands abusing their wives because they refuse to vote for Donald Trump. But like to see it was just really weird, man. Get out and vote, my friends. If you're in the U.S., it's the only chance that you've got to affect any change in the in the government. So you might as well do it. Even if your vote doesn't count, just go do it anyway. Just go vote, yo. It's your civic responsibility. Go and do it. All right, let me get caught up on chat here. Uriel says, and all other addictions in reference to gambling addiction. Josh S says, so I have a set of the Tiny Whoop 603 26,000 kV motors. I remember a while back, you used to like these as an option for 75 millimeter whoops. Would you still say they're pretty good? They are pretty good. The problem with them is the 1 millimeter motor shafts on a 75 millimeter whoop. It's not going to last all that long. I also did eventually notice that the 603 motor size is a little bit tall. If you're going to fly those motors hard, they're going to overheat. The KV is great. 26,000 KV is awesome for a 75 millimeter rig. But if you're heavy on the throttle, 603, right? That's 2 to 1. It's not a wide enough motor to stay really cool. So yeah, that's kind of the full situation of those motors. What is great about those motors is that they have awesome response time. The KV is nice and high, and the motor bell is not very wide. So the magnets being sucked in is less centrifugal force, right? Like you spin around in a chair with your arms out, and then you pull your arms in, and you spin faster when you pull your arms in. That 603 motor has its arms pulled in, so it can spin nice and fast until it overheats. That's the trade-off there. Bad says, evening, UK clocks going back have cased me to be late. I'm just waiting for a Tiny Whoop order to arrive with my 2S300. Nice. I'm still on the fence with what motors to go with. Well, hopefully I've helped you out. You left that comment at 3:19, and now we've talked about all the different motors. So Levster says hello. Kevin J, thank you again for the very generous super chat, my friend. You have supported the insanity that is doing FPV as a full-time job, and trying to do it in like a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche, right? Like I don't do the more popular FPV content creator thing of just like get as much review stuff as possible, and every single thing that you do is a review of a product. I try to dive deep into custom builds to help you guys build something that's even better, or take a bind and fly and swap the motors or the propellers or the canopy to something that works even better. And that's just like a ridiculous thing to do, but hey, here we are. Thank you for supporting the insanity. Dave S says change color. I think that might have been in reference to when we were looking at the BetaFPV motors. Levster says, does the 1102 block too much wind on the 40 millimeter propeller? Isn't a 1002 better for 40 millimeter props? Not really. I mean, there's such a slight difference, and I mean it's blocking the thrust on the very inside, which is where the least thrust is made. So yeah, I wouldn't think that the additional thrust blockage is going to really have much to do with it. If it was, the 1102s wouldn't have been able to crank to so much of a higher KV, I wouldn't think. But I can tell you from flying them, the 1102s make significantly more power. So if that extra width is blocking a little bit of thrust, the extra amount of cooling that's doing, and or just the fact that it's a longer lever, it's more mechanical torque, boy is it making more power. The 1102s are the power kings out of these three motors for sure. Uriel says outdoor you need 2S. Willie FPV says that is why I love my Crux 3 2S. with separate HD0 VTX. I can fly close proximity as well as faster and longer flights. Also, flight time is 7+ minutes. Good lord. What the hell batteries are you running to get that kind of flight time? Max L says, looks like only your house is prepped for Halloween in the neighborhood. Yeah, man. Do you guys notice that? Like a lot, it feels like every year less people decorate for holidays. It's the 27th. Like there's no, we've been like waiting for more houses to do it. Around the corner, there's a couple of houses that are decorated, but like, yeah, not many. And the decorations that we did, I just did real quick. Usually Maggie and I, maybe even Azalea, will go out and we'll spend a few hours. Maggie's got a couple of tubs in the garage with a lot more Halloween decorations than this. A couple of weeks ago, I had a few of those lights that I was moving from one box to the other, and I was just like, well, screw it, I'll throw them up in the front yard real quick. So I put those purple green lights up just real quick, and then a couple days after that, I was doing something in the garage, and I had to walk upstairs, and I was like, well, I'll grab like the pumpkin and like the witch or whatever, and since I was going upstairs, I brought them up and I just dropped them out on the patio, and then a couple days after that, the same thing happened. And I took another couple things up real quick and just like the little skulls and just dropped them out. And that was it. Maggie and I have been wanting to take all the tubs and really go bananas, but like it kind of looks fine the way that it is now. And there's only like 3 days left. So we might just, it's funny. It kind of looks classy right now. If there's any holiday to go classless and just go nuts and throw shit everywhere, it's kind of Halloween. But yeah, maybe this year we just have like a classy Halloween decoration setup. I don't know. vPro says there is a TPU printed solution for pinch in a Mobula 6 canopy. Saw it on Tyrant's Discord. No way. And FXT sticks out too much. I broke one right away. It was you. I know it was somebody in chat. It was vPro that broke one right away. Don't really want to repeat. I have hung lenses out of Mobula 6 canopies quite a bit, and I've yet to break one of these Walksnail light cameras. I have a funny feeling, vPro, that you got unlucky. Maybe not, but I think you might have gotten unlucky. Also, did you open up the plastic in the canopy so that the lens wasn't like fucking crammed in there? Maybe if you didn't, that's a reason that it broke. I don't know why that would cause it to break, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting. TPU printed solution for a pinch cam and a Mobula 6 canopy. From the camera testing that we did the other day, I was not super happy. I did not like the way that the pinch cam looked. The center was so zoomed out. But I do want to do a little bit more testing. There are a couple more cameras that were not in here that I want to test. And maybe I have another tiny whoop pinch. I don't know. Maybe there was something weird with this one. I don't know why there would be, but yeah, I don't know. I was not blown away by the tiny whoop pinch cam. I've flown it before and I was just like, yeah, this is fine. But in that test, I was really like, what's happening here? Why is it so wide in the center of the image? But then it's not super wide on the outside. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to play a little bit more. If you come across that TPU printed solution, vPro, let me know, because the Tiny Whoop pinch camera is the same size as some other cameras. So yeah, whatever that TPU printed solution is for the Mobula 6 canopy will probably work on other cameras, and I might need that at some point. So if you come across it, hook a brother up. Let me know. Bad says, just put the BEW FXT camera on my new 75mm rig, and I hate it outside. With a bit of sun, the shadows become pitch black. Honestly, had to land after 30 seconds and swap drones. Jesus. I might not have flown that FXT camera outside yet. I've flown it at the drift car place, and I've flown it around the house a bunch. There's a chance I haven't flown it outside. Interesting. Uriel says, we want to hammer it around and reviewing for others. I don't need digital. The weight rejects good flying. Uriel also says, be a gentleman. Uriel is an enigma wrapped in a riddle. And I'm here for it. Striker says, also it has to be DJI. Okay, you put an exclamation point after CiottiFPV in your previous comment, and so it didn't turn orange. Striker says, have a question for you. I need to build a small Cinewoop for carrying a naked GoPro. Preferably I would like to run 4S 850s. It is meant for indoor cinematic stuff. The easy button is probably the AOS Cine 2.5 if you're not going to crash it. If you are going to crash it, the QAV, what are they even calling it now? Pro? QAV Pro Cine? You don't want the 2-inch one. You want the 2.5-inch one. This is it. QAV Cine. I mean, this is the old Freibot edition, but yeah, I think this is what you want. It allows you to run a 20x20 stack, which is awesome. It's not the ridiculous upside down setup that's going to be really hard to take off in long grass and whatnot. Are they calling it the QAV Pro? Where's the so this is what you do. All right, so yeah, they did change. Oh, okay. QAV Pro Nano is the 2-inch one. Don't do that one. 2-inch propellers are just not big enough. You want the 2.5-inch one. Where the hell is it? Wait, no. I can sort from price high to low. Well, that's gonna find all these bundles, but we'll be all right. We're getting there. 119 here, coming down in price. Here we go. $80. There it is. Lumineer QAV Pro Micro. That's what they're calling it. I think this is the way to go. It's got these little foam bastards here, which make it unbelievably loud, but they also slow it down. Oh, look. EOS webcam died. Why is it asking me if I want to close the application? I don't want to close the application. I want the application to work. Is this my camera dying? I wonder if the camera is shitting the bed, and that's why it's asking me if I want to close it, because the camera's turning off, and then once it doesn't have a camera connected, it's like, hey. Well, that's interesting. What happened there? I guess I have to unplug and plug the camera back in. Well, shit. I have another one of these EOS Rebel cameras. I'll have to swap it in. It's only 720 though. I switched over to this T6 because it gave me 1080. But I mean, honestly, 720 looks totally fine. Yeah, this is what you want to go. What you want to do, I think. You can take these foam things off if you're flying it outside, if you want it to fly faster. And yeah, this is the direction I would go. Look at this website, man. Don't you want to go to this website and click all the buttons? Striker also says, my bad, let me correct myself. It has to be specifically DJI Vista. My friend that asked for this has V1 goggles. Yep. That frame just has 20x20 mounting in the back. You can put whatever you want in there. Walksnail, Vista, 03. Well, actually, 03 might not fit, but it doesn't matter. You asked about Vista. Uriel says, don't worry about presidents. Soon aliens come over and put me in charge. Metatron helps me and others. The best for mankind. My dictatorship. There we go. Christopher Conkright says, I figured out the Dshot telemetry arming flag. I put it in Dshot 150 by accident. Just wanted to let you know. Thank you for letting me know. That I had not... I think maybe I've seen that flag like once in a blue moon, but I've never actually troubleshot that flag before. I wonder why it was. I wonder why though. What's wrong with Dshot 150? Should be able to run it. One would think we were able to run that, right? I don't know. Hey, look at this. So I hung these on the existing nails that were in from the big bastard. So I either have to, if I'm going to leave these up here, which I think I might, I either have to bring the nails in closer together because this looks silly, or look at this. I could put that guy up in between. I'm thinking about it. That gap between this, it looks about right. The only problem is, the only thing that might drive me nuts. Now, we are all fucking over the place this live stream. That's okay. The only thing I might not like, though, is this is a little close to the wall here. Isn't it? That looks a little bit weird there, I think, being that close to the wall. This can change, though. This is... yeah, that's a piece to run cables down in the corner. So, I don't know. But I dig it. I really, these are two of my favorite cars of all time. This is the 2000 Mustang Cobra R, and then everybody knows what that is. And it's just magical to me that both of these have gray backgrounds. The rest of the room is gray walls. So it's like so satisfying that this red wall has the artwork with the gray backgrounds, you know? And like eventually this wall will be gray as well. And then that, yeah, I don't know. Forgive me for car nerding for a minute. It's my show. I do what I want. Willie FPV says GNB 2S 450 mAh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a big battery to get 7-minute run times. Uriel says, the Commerce is getting it into Holland to Halloween. I'm worse, but not commercial. Uriel says, LOL. Just Mo says, hey, CiottiFPV, can I plug in an AIO without wiring anything to it? Yes, absolutely. You won't, it's funny. You like, whenever you power up an AIO, you expect to get the startup beeps. But without motors plugged in, you won't get them. So you'll be like, it's just a funny experience of like, oh, right, got it. VPro says, tagged you in 3D printing on Discord with the pinch holder model. Dude, very cool. Thank you for that. It's on printables. Oh, look at that. That's slick. I like that a lot. Trying to open the damn thing. There we go. Yeah, just a little cool. This should work on damn near anything. 0.24 of a gram. It's not nothing. But this is yeah, I for freestyle, for reliability, for smashing everything inside. Oh, this is a Tokyo Dom design, yo. Yeah, for abusing a rig, this canopy is just my favorite. And to be able to run like any camera in it, that's pretty awesome. I wonder if this is also on Thingiverse. Let's search for... oh, for fuck's sake. Tokyo Dom. Wait, no. I surely I have something made by him already in here. Oh, screw it. Let's try this. Yeah. Mobula 6 Demon Canopy. What on earth? So now that I know what that little thing looks like, I can... oh, you piece of shit. Why? Why turn off? Don't turn off. I think this is it. This is it. There it is. Yeah. Wonderful. This is cool because I can I can add it to my things to print setup. I just have to log in. This is me logging in. Maybe EOS webcam utility is not the worst thing on earth. I do ask a lot of this DSLR. This is an older DSLR. And asking it to run constant on for 2 full hours is asking a lot of it. Oh, man. Come on, dude. I'm not doing anything on the computer. Please work. Please work. There it goes. Things to make. Collect this thing. There it is. Oh, for fuck's sake. Did it really freeze that quickly? Let's try it again. Good looking out, brother. Come on back. Come on, Canon things. Oh boy, I guess I have to try the other camera to be able to troubleshoot this in any meaningful way. Shoot FPV says, got my package from you. Thank you so much, dude. Must be from being a Patreon. You're certainly welcome, my friend. Did you maybe, is that a giveaway win? If it's like a package with a lot of stuff in it, that's a giveaway. That's a giveaway win. It sounds like you didn't order something from the Etsy store. So the only other time that I send people stuff is if they've won a giveaway. Rockcrawler says that gap should say CiottiFPV. Which gap? 409. Which gap? Henry Digital God Benny says, have you flown the Dark Star 20? If so, would you say these two better? I have not. Most companies don't send me anything, so unless I buy a bind and fly with my own money, I typically don't fly them. And yeah, it's awful expensive. Like if I were to buy every bind and fly that came out, I'd be spending like $1,000 a month on them, and FPV as a full-time job is not. It's not a great way to make a ton of money. It's a great way to do something that you love, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of money in it, other than like, you know, a dozen or two guys that have been very fortunate to get tied in with just the right people, or were like a couple of the first ones to kind of get into it, and they can rely on, like, you know, that following that they built when FPV was sort of booming in the early days. Yeah, this thing is $380. Yeah, no way. Sorry, dude. Uriel says, relax, meditate, that will be okay. Frank Nicholas says, EOS FPV usually shits bed again. And then Rockcrawler says, the gap between the car picks. Oh, yeah, it's too wide. It's funny. That was my first thought too. But it's way too wide. I'd have to put it up really high or something like that. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It becomes like a little too busy, I think. Kind of works. It's also like red on red. I don't know. It's too close though. I want more. To be honest, I might go back to the old giant sign because it's awesome, and my parents got it for me a while ago. So it's got, you know, sentimental loveliness. I also really like that there. The only thing I don't like about that there is that, like, it's kind of in shadow a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I also think I would need to move these. I need to move these down a little bit. I feel like this is up too high. These guys would need to come down. So, like, I don't know. I really don't want to. I don't want to put more holes in this wall than I need to because it's this crazy red paint. But I don't know. I think it's time to switch it up a little bit. And I love this blip shift art. I love it so much. You have no idea how much I love it. I very well might just put 2 more holes and just move this in and down. There it goes. And then move the other one in and down because, like, with this camera shot here, well, let's see. Hold on. This camera keeps getting bumped, but yeah, I would love this F40 to come into frame a little bit. So if I put the corner of it, Jesus Christ. What is going on with this fucking computer? Oh, it is running out of CPU. What's happening? OBS is just... I'm really starting to feel like I need to not have basically 4 video sources plugged into this. I think I might just be asking too much. Although right now Google is asking for 550% of the CPU. Why? Maybe getting off of Google Chrome and getting onto Firefox will help enough. I can't believe Firefox is the hot browser. Somebody said that a couple live streams ago. I don't doubt it, but man, it's been a long time. I'll give it a try. Mozilla. All right, I downloaded it. Is that enough? Man, I used Firefox forever ago. Just forever ago. Chrome has also begun to do this really interesting thing where it doesn't finish downloads. Like right now, for example. It won't finish the download. It just sits there in my downloads folder as unconfirmed .cr download. All right, Firefox is installed. There you guys go. Are you happy? Is everybody happy now? Firefox has been installed. Oh no, it's going. 402 megs. Oh boy, the computer's gonna run like a bag of smashed assholes while that's going. Frank Douglas says, I've said this before, Google Chrome is a piece of shit, memory hog. Why not use native Safari? I tried using Safari for a while. I forget what it was, but there was something that I really didn't like about it. I forget what it was. I think it was really slow. I think it was... I don't know. But yeah. Since I'm on Mac, I would love to run Safari. Maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I will try it again. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in terms of 2S 75mm rigs. I've got a couple of batteries on the charger here. Let's do a little bit of flying. What rigs do you guys want to see me fly? Type it into the chat. You guys get to pick. We can go... I've got the HD0 65mm rig. I've got the the BetaFPV Air 75. I've got the Air 65 as well, the prototype. There's the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop with the 702 32,000s. I'm not gonna fly Walksnail. It's just a pain in the ass to plug everything in, and the computer is really having a hard time anyway. At the moment, and that would require me to plug the HD60S Plus in, which is going to drag on the computer even worse. Although so well flying the HD0 rig. multiple people asking for the Air 75, so that's it. Done. Air 75 it is. That's actually kind of nice because we can beat the hell out of it some more to see if the frame holds up. Air 75, Air 75, Air 75. Uriel asks for Air 65. That's cool. Rob Axelson says fly the Wemix. That thing got run over on the Maiden. Striker says, do 25 amp FETs handle 1404 4600 easily? 25 amp FETs will technically handle 2306 big boy motors. Son of a bitch! Oh! Please. Please. Work. I'm tempted to hook the other camera up now, but I know if I do that, something will go wrong. Let me just muddle through the end of this stream. Colin wants to see ceiling fan tricks. I don't think the ceiling fan is on up there. Air 75 first. Got 3 of these Lava 450s charged for it. Oh! Oh! I forgot to put it in the stream title. Change that right now. Fucking freeze again? Really? Oh no, the computer is just completely shitting the bed right now. Oh wow. Chrome has just absolutely pooped its pants. I think it also did freeze though. Wow, this is nuts, dude. This is nuts! What if I just unplug and replug the camera? What happens if I do that? What happens? Aha. Ah. Alright, let's see how long this lasts. Order from WeBleedFPV came in. Look at this shirt, man. It's a size small. It might be a little wee for me, but if it's too small for me, one of you guys can get it. Look at that. Look at that green, man. That is awesome. Northeast Whoop Championship size small shirt. Thank you for that, Zotek. He sent me a bunch of really cool stuff that you're gonna see in the giveaways coming up. We Bleed coasters. These are like rubberized coasters, which is nice. Not those like paper ones that once they get wet, they're ruined. Bunch of these little We Bleed battery straps, which are super handy. Come on, computer. Please. Please. Oh my god, dude. Why is it getting worse? Practically says there's a GoPro app from GoPro allows you to use GoPro is a 1080 cam webcam free. I've tried it. It did not work very well. And you guys would hate looking at me through a GoPro. It would look terrible. Oh my god, come on. Come on. Well, this will be an audio mailbag, I guess. Although it should pop back up in a second here. I did just unplug and replug it. Or maybe not. All anytime now. Oh God, YouTube just shit the bed. All right, so YouTube just crashed and the chat's gone. As is the live streaming window. Wow, this is just insane. How many different things can screw me over at once? Hold on, I'm getting the chat back up. A new cable for the EOS. That's interesting. It's an interesting idea. It uses an old ass cable. I can actually try that right now. That's an easy troubleshoot. Good fucking thinking, man. All right, hold on. I have another one. It's the old school, like trapezoidal looking USB cable. All right, so let's try this. Wow, it is like all the way dead apparently. We will do this mailbag come hell or high water. All right, so there's one USB cable removed. Here's another USB cable plugged in. Let's see what this does. Oh my God! Could that have been the problem all along? If it is, I'm gonna shit my pants. It's still running like absolute assholes on Tuesdays. But let's see. Let's see if that makes it a little bit more stable. Good call, dude. Good call. Yeah, bunch of these Weebleed little battery straps. These will end up in the giveaways as well. A couple of sheets of the Weebleed Band-Aids. Lots of good fodder for giveaways, yo. Whole bunch of their really, really cool new holographic stickers. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. I got a bunch more of the 1210 1.5 millimeter motor shaft bi-blades. I ordered a bunch and then Zotek threw in a ton more. I got them in smoke crotch gray. He threw in a bunch of reds, which is awesome. And then also in vegan green. So yeah, there will be some of these coming to giveaways soon. Oh, there's another shirt. Oh, nice. The other shirt is medium. I don't know why I'm not showing it to you. This one will be mine. Actually, I'll try them both on, see what's what. Very cool. So there's either going to be a medium or a small shirt being given away at some point here. Whichever one fits me worse. And the main reason that I did this order is right here. This is 3 sets of the new Weebleed 0702 1.5 millimeter motor shaft bells. I've got to figure out what rigs I'm putting these on. Almost certainly a set of these are going to go on to the 40,000 kV 65 millimeter Walksnail Freestyle 1S build. It just makes way too much sense, right? It's heavy, it's going to slam, it's got all that power. So yeah, a set of those is going on to that build for sure. A set of these have to go on to an analog build that we just absolutely smash the living hell out of. So there will definitely be a set going there. And then, did I get an extra? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I did not get an extra one. But these should never fail. I don't think that we will ever bend one of these 1.5 millimeter motor shafts on a 702 powered rig, right? Like, so these are the 702 bells. 702 motors really don't have the jam for 75 millimeter rigs. So they're only ever going to be on these lighter weight rigs. So they should be indestructible. And that's kind of a dirty word, because any one of us can break anything, but it might actually be indestructible because the rigs that we're going to put 702s on are light enough that, yeah, it should be good to go. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited about those. That's going to be a bunch of work though, taking all those C-clips off, and luckily I have some extras. This is a box from Kevin James. I think I know what's in here. I think I know what's in here. Yep. Kevin James sent me a message. He said, "Yo, your Logitechs are getting worse and worse. I have a couple of webcams that have just been sitting and doing nothing. Do you want to try them out?" I said, "Hell yeah." So we got a little Logitech here that's 1080, and then there's an interesting smell in this box. And then here's another one, it looks like. Kevin, if you ever want these back, just let me know. Hey, this is very similar to the one that I've got now. So yeah, this will be really cool. I'll be interested to see what the focal distance is. I have two. They look like this. They don't have the lens cap on them, but I have two that are very similar to this. The bench cam here, and then the little zoom cam here. Hello. And it's super funny. Between these two, this one here, it'll focus really close. This one here will not. It will never focus close. Okay. It just made a liar out of me. It used to not focus really close. But this one has begun to flicker. You guys can see it flickering down here every so often. And that's just super annoying. So yeah. Kevin, let me know if you ever need these back. I will send them back to you, but I'm going to give them a shot. There's your mailbag for the day, my friends. Now we can get back to doing some flying. Oh, this one, I should have asked, Kevin. I'm sorry. They have to have quarter 20 mounts on them. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this one can be the one that sits on the desk. I'm going to be giving him a shot, and we'll see what's what. This one is weird. This is a weird design that they've got here. I don't think there's a way to get this to sit on a... Oh, it spins. Oh, look at that. Oh, that will totally sit on the desk. Oh, cool. I'm going to be trying these out. We're not going to do it today. Maybe we'll do it today. Can I reach the USB port? Let's fly first. We're going to fly the Air 75 in the house. Oh, the other thing that was in that order, the reason that I remembered to do mailbag was this We Bleed FPV fat strap, which has the smaller buttons on it, which you can use on the HD0 goggles. So my HD0 setup is now so fucking white and red. It's all the white, all the red. There you go. I don't love these fat straps. They're a little bit too big. Like they're so big on the back of your head that it like gets really sweaty under there. But there really aren't any other options at this point. The strap that I took off of this is this Rotor strap, which is a little bit less tall. But the problem with this is this buckle here constantly loosens itself. So like every couple of times I put the goggles on with this strap, I would have to tighten this up. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but it just got sort of annoying. And also this is like really stretchy. Like this stretches really easily. The fat straps are a lot more sort of substantial when you go to stretch them here. We'll see. I'll run it for a while and see what's what. I don't need to run these goggles right now, though, because I don't need to DVR. So I'm going to grab my much more comfortable, old-school Fat Shark HD2s, HD3s. I wish I had a set of HD2s. If you guys ever see a set of Fat Shark HD2s used and you don't want them, let me know. I'll probably buy them. The HD2s are wider field of view than the HD3s, which I think would be cool. Frank Nicholas says, suggestion to stop using crappy Logitech software. I mentioned Camo software app for Mac OS before. You're welcome to test or borrow my license. Oh, shit. Might be down for that. If I don't have to pay, I'll give it a shot. All right, here we go. Although, you know what's interesting is that I have not had the Logitech software running. The Logitech software is not running right now. And both of these cameras seem to work better with it not running. Although this one has refused. Just as I say that, this one is not focusing. Come on, you bastard. There it goes. Yeah, neither one of them are using the software right now, and they've actually been more stable without the software. I have actually not seen this flickering. Has this still been flickering? Was the software the reason that it was flickering? Surely not. Let me know. Air 75 with a propeller swap in the house. These are the HQ ultralight 1.6-inch biblades. Okay, camo will actually make the Logitech cameras work better, Frank says. Very cool. All right, here we go. Air 75. What? There we go. Hey, easy, fella, easy. I gotta adjust it. Hold on, there's way too much up tilt. Wait, maybe not. Maybe there's not a lot of up tilt. This is that really tall mount. I'm just, yeah, right. I have this set as with the minimum amount of up tilt possible. So I just have to fly around it. Okay. Here we go! Up the stairs! Big old lava batteries. This CO3 camera has this annoying-ass piece of dust in the sensor that you can see there, sort of in the middle. Once you get dust on the sensor on an FPV camera, that's kind of game over. You're not going to be able to get the lens off and then get it refocused. And then, I don't know. I guess you could, but I'm not going to. That's just silly. I do have another CO3 camera somewhere that I will replace this one with. But for right now, I will just ignore it. So on these HQ ultralight biblades, the response time is better because they're a lighter weight prop. But I think it has less power. I think I like the GemFan 1610s better on this thing. The motors are only 23,000 kV. And so, yeah, power is ever so slightly lacking. I think they're a hot 23,000 kV. Oh boy. But still, even just for, ooh, I just nipped that gate. Even just for like around the house stuff. Woo, shit. It's just, there's just not quite enough. I would like a little bit more power. It's a trade-off with 75mm rigs. It seems to be like, if I can get the power that I want, I don't have the response time that I want. And vice versa. And this is a scenario where the response time is really good. Like, look how, oh god. Look, that's unrecoverable. Immediately he crashes it. Unrecoverably. Yeah, this rig is, with these propellers, is currently in a place where the response time is great. It's quick, it's fast, it really feels and looks good. Don't do that. Don't beep. Don't beep. Stop it. Stop beeping. Thank you. Hey! Ooh. An awkward crash. I might change my tune once I swap back to the to the gem fans because I'll lose a little bit of the response time. But my biggest problem when it comes to flying the 75mm rigs in the house is a lack of response time, and it just makes them lazy. And like inside the house, you gotta be on it. Like everything is happening all at once. Hey. Oh, by the way, look at all this stuff here. I'm not gonna be able to show you. Not the full builds. I'm gonna try to get them up tonight. But in front of these full builds, there's a row of all kinds of new stuff that I put up on the Etsy store last night in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. A bunch of motors, Flywoo 1002, 23,500 kV motors. A couple of sets of Happy Model 0802 19,000s. There's one more set of motors that I put up. I forget what it is. Oh, the RC and Power 703 27,000s are up there. The .99mm drill bits are up there. Why? How can I fly this good while I'm... Usually I have to stop talking to be able to fly half decent, but right now I'm on fucking fire! And is this battery ever gonna die? Holy hell. I got the Newbie Drone foam feet up there. I got the Newbie Drone short screws up there. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new stuff. 4 minutes and 21 seconds. I ran the battery down a little bit lower than I normally do, though. Same thing as on the other day's stream. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of new stuff over on the Etsy store. And you can get there by going to CiottiFPV.com, and then you just click the link here. Look. The ultra short Newbie Drone screws. There's the foam fetuses. Oh, the ORT Micro V antennas. Yep. ORT Micro V antennas. M1.2 by 12 for the double stack builds. Lightweight whip antennas that I've personally modified. And the fucking camera died again. You goddamn rat bastard. Yeah, there you go. Bunch of new stuff on the Etsy store. Get it while it's hot. Alright, so it wasn't the cable. The cable was not the issue. I have a funny feeling that this camera is on its way out. I'm gonna cut you, fat sharks. You're fine. It says the battery is half full. Maybe it's because the battery is half empty. Air 75 is super impressive. I gotta be completely honest. It is one hell of a bind and fly. The durability is still suspect, but other than that, yeah, what a thing. And if you only fly it inside the house, the durability will probably be fine. Oh my god! Well, we know that the cable's okay, so that's good. Let me switch the propellers. Actually, no. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna do another battery, and then we'll switch the propellers. Let me get used to these props. Hopefully you guys will too, and then we'll swap it. This frame is still broken. Just barely, but it is a broken frame that's been repaired with a little janky piece of shrink wrap, which is doing super well. Right there. The frame cracked, and then I put a piece of shrink wrap on there, and that's holding the frame together, and it's holding up just fine. Unbelievably. Shout out to, I want to say CMYK is who told me about that. Yes, the camera is plugged into a USB hub, Kevin. It always has been, though, and it's always been fine. Like, this gear setup has worked for literally years. And so I know the hub can handle it. Meteor 75 air on. Ah, I tried to get under the table going sideways like kind of blindly. What was that, dude? Hey! Ah! It hit that gate so hard. Oh my god. It hit that gate like a ton of bricks. There we go. Look at that. Oh god. Man, with these props. Oh, it shreds. It be shredding. Wait, somebody asked for ceiling fan tricks. Teddy Spaghetti. I'm gonna ignore him for once, and we'll do some ceiling fan orbits. Maggie be watering some plants. Look at her. Let's see if I can. I don't think I've done this on this new fan. It does land on the blades. Look at that. I wonder if I can land on this damn thing while it's spinning. I tried it on the old one, and it really would not work. Let me do some right-handed orbits. This is the direction that I'm weaker. So I try to do it as often as possible. Just really concentrate. Oh, boy. It's unbelievable how much more difficult orbits are in one direction than the other. I've never met anybody that doesn't have that same situation. It's just the corrections to dial it to stay in the orbit are so much harder. And so, like, doing them to the left here, I can make those corrections a lot better. We visit this ceiling fan, too. Double ceiling fan, double tricks. Hopefully the stream quality is okay. Or the VTX is not getting all angry. I'm flying through rapid fire. So for me, it's fine. But you guys are flying through a little $25 cheapo VRX! Woo! Shit! Here's the other very fun orbit spot. Cool. Hey! Oh! Ah! Ah! Oh my god, I made it in there. And then immediately fucked it into the barrier. Get out. Get out of there. Where am I? Oh god, I'm in the back. Oh, I made it out. Look at me go. George Russell. Anybody that watches Rocket Powered Mohawk just had a conniption. Ooh, shit. Yo, I will say this. This rig be getting some run time, bro! Oh my god, why? The run time that this thing gets is kind of phenomenal. You could probably run a 300 mAh battery on here. Ooh, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put the little adapter in. Oh boy. It does get saggy though, I will say. Like the last minute or so, I definitely noticed the battery sag. We'll leave it there. Woo! Alright, now I'm going to change the props. And I'll let you know if there's a massive difference. Frank Nicholas says, anything new / recently connected to the USB hub the camera is on? Nope. Nothing. What broke everything was when I updated stuff. Before I had updated, it was super, super, super reliable. It had been for many, many, many months. When I updated EOS webcam utility, at the same time I updated the system software to Sierra, is it? Sequoia. That's when all hell broke loose. I also updated OBS around the same time, and it was just a complete mistake. If you ever have any software that works, for the love of God, don't update it ever until they force you to. Eventually, they'll force you to, but in this case, they didn't force me to, and for some reason, I did the big dumb and updated it. These are the props that it came with. These are just GemFan 1610s with 1mm motor shafts. I'm going to... No, I don't really have many of these GemFan 1610s with 1mm motor shafts. Pretty much all the ones that I have are 1.5mm motor shafts. Correlation does not indicate causation. Yeah, it's a great thing to always remember. Okay, I just wanted to remove a tiny little bit of material. This thing is... I gotta get this thing to props in. This thing is still on props out. Not much of a difference, though, between props in, if we're honest. This was nice to go back to props out and be like, oh, yeah, right. Very little difference. Little to no difference. I still do think, though, that props in is the way to go on ducted rigs. A lesson that we learned from Cinewhoops. Okay, so we're putting on more pitchy, more durable, but heavier propellers right now. Back to the props, and these are the props that this thing comes with. So this is now a completely stock Air 75, other than the broken frame. Fresh battery. Here we go. We should see a little bit more power, a little bit less runtime. Response time is still really good. All right, hold on. My fingers were like all over the sticks. Look at this dog. Look at him. Where are you going? Where are you going, little one? What are you doing? There he is. There's our boy. Oh, boy. There he is. There he is. Acting the fool. Teddy just acting the fool, as always. Blow that fluff around. Look at the graceful fluff. Oh man, I was able to blow. He is in top form today. Jeez. Yeah, buddy. Do the dance. Do that dance. Dance it up, buddy. Dance it. Dance it. He's showing his teeth. Did you see that? He's showing them teeth. Come on, buddy. Dance. Arrgh. I heard him growl. Yeah, this gets me that... I was about to say this gets me that little bit of extra power back, but I just had a moment where I was like, I don't know about that. That was actually crash recovery getting a little upset and kind of screwing me up. Every once in a while, crash recovery can cause a crash, but man, way more often than not, it saves you from crashes. That was a pretty hard hit. So was that, actually. Look at him. He's the guardian. Woo, God! Response time is still pretty good, I gotta be honest. I'm pretty impressed by these 802s, man. Whoo, shit, I knew that was gonna be close. I didn't think it was gonna be that close. Ugh. Ah, I just caught that railing. Are you kidding me? I had that whole route planned out. Hey. Ah, I tried to drop it down to the cube and get it. Ah! I forced it. Never force it. What did I do about the antenna on this rig? I was getting some weird, like, kind of staticky shit up there. What's happening with the antenna? Oh, I just it's a whip antenna, but I E6000 it down. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, there is less. There is slightly less. Slightly less response time. I can more hear it than I can feel it or see it. God, I love like really twisting those up. That's really cool. Woo! Oh, so close. Hey. Ah! Ah! Battery's starting to sag like absolute hell. We're gonna kill it here. No. Let's keep going. I want to see if I can get to that magic 4-minute and 20-second runtime. Uh-oh. Where the hell is it? Well, it ain't coming out wherever it is, so I gotta go over there. Man. Binding flies nowadays. Am I right? Wild. Absolutely wild. Hey. Hey. All right, last little bit. We're over 4 minutes. We're over 4 minutes. Jesus Christ, I'm a cracker. Ah! There it is. We got there. I mean, I didn't fly as hard towards the end there, but we had a couple hard hits in that battery. Everything seems okay. Let me actually go into turtle mode and spin each motor up. Motor 1 is a little banged up. Motor 2 is pretty clean. Motor 3 is a little banged up. Motor 4 is getting banged up. Yeah. 1 mil motor shafts. This is gonna happen. This is yeah. But boy, crazy runtime, really decent flight performance. When you hit shit in the house with this, it hits hard for sure. We've talked about that quite a bit. But it flies really good. These motors are kicking ass, dude. I'm really blown away by these BetaFPV 802 23,000s. We don't always need to go completely insane KV wise. But the weight of this thing helps that quite a bit. This is a very lightweight 75mm rig. So that helps. Now OBS is like fine. OBS does this weird thing where like sometimes it uses all the CPU for no real reason, and then other times it's all good. It's totally cool. Super strange. Why are there 2 instances of EOS webcam running? EOS webcam service and utility pro helper. Streaming is just such a nightmare. There you go, friends. I don't think we're going to fly these 3 batteries. I'm hungry as hell. I'm going to fly these on my time. But I flew 3. You fly 6. I'll fly 3 more tonight. Thanks for hanging, beautiful people. Hold on. Let me get caught up on chat. Let me get caught up on the chat. Maxell says, bro, just close all the prawn hub tabs. Done. Oh, wow, I'm way behind. Kevin J says, HD mirror flips, please. We did one, we didn't do that one the other night. Next time. Brains Bean says, is the HDO 65 the new one-piece board? I want to see that. Yes, it is. Tomorrow night. We'll do it tomorrow night. Colin Stapleton says, fly what you want, but let's see some ceiling fan tricks. Done. Uriel says, if you damage the wall, hang a new artwork. Just Mo says, ran into something weird when my AIO5 is all wired up. It started going up in smoke, but when I plug it into Betaflight without it being wired, it's fine. You know what might have happened? Sounds like the 5-volt regulator died. When you plug it into the computer, USB provides 5 volt. When you plug it into a battery, it takes whatever the voltage that battery is outputting, it puts it through a 5-volt regulator, and then it makes 5 volts for the board to run on. And so, yeah, it sounds like maybe that regulator died. I would continue to build it and see what happens, but if it let out magic smoke, something exploded. So it's probably wrecked, but yeah. Uriel says, put it on 720p, you look better also. Agreed. Frank Nicholas says, no, we got that. Maxell says, new HD0 Lux camera is 16 millimeters tall instead of 14 millimeters as other square shapes. How do you think it will fit in a Mobile 6 canopy using 3D printed lens ring for mounting? I don't know, but I will find out. I have one of them here. I just haven't had a chance to do anything with it. I'm like super behind. But yeah, I will let you know. You'll get to see it on a live stream is what I should say. Frank Nicholas says, try closing Chrome, see if the problem improves. If I do that, I lose the chat. But I'm going to try Firefox. We'll see how that goes. Frank Nicholas also says, probably only one screwing you over. You just haven't found which one yet. Yeah, right? Quad66 is in the house. What's up, homie? How are you? Quad66 has been doing GPS things to try to get clean power to his GPS modules, and or get the GPS module as far enough away from electrical noise that it works properly. It looks like it's been figured out, I think. Go subscribe to his channel or else. Frank Nicholas says, suggestion to stop using crap. Oh, we talked about that. Copy link address. All right, I'm opening up a tab with camo in it. Frank says, I've seen flickering on today's stream, but only when your other software has issues. EOS. That's interesting. One of the things that I did learn a long time ago from other streamers is to not have a whole bunch of cameras plugged in. Like, rule number 1, to some extent, of live streaming is, like, just use one single camera. I've got this one. I've got this Logitech here. I've got this other Logitech. And then OBS thinks that the VTX, the video receiver feed coming in is a camera too. So I've basically got 4 cameras hooked up to OBS. It has worked though. Like, for a long time, I had this same setup and it was totally fine, right? And so, like, as much as I just want to start removing cameras, you know, like, I just saw this camera flicker. I think this camera is on its way out. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just absolutely frustrating beyond the bounds of rational thought. Uriel says maybe the 12-volt support died. What's that mean? Frank Nicholas says anything new / recently connected to the existing USB hub the camera's on? Nope. Daniel1964 says what camera is on the Air 75? It is the BetaFPV CO3. Is it on digital? It looks great. Yeah, no, it's the CO3, which did really well in the testing that we did the other day with the 8 FPV cameras. Uriel says, for the updates, the commerce F's you over. They make you buy new stuff, the MF. Yeah. Yeah, what's that called? Planned obsolescence. Brandon McBean says, I had to turn crash recovery off the other day on my 75 when I was flying in trees. Kept messing up my knife edge gaps. Was it... there are settings for... If you were doing a knife edge and then it was triggering crash recovery... you need to dial the settings down. But if you were doing the knife edge and then you were hitting branches and then it was leveling you, well then, yeah, crash recovery is working right. But if you're moving the sticks really hard and it's triggering crash recovery, you can fix that. Islander FPV says, off topic, I went to spectate my first autocross event last weekend. Very cool. And got a warm welcome. I even got to ride in an AP2 S2000 on stickies, stock NA Miata LS swap. FCRX7, I may be hooked. Yeah, man, autocross is the best. I miss it. I really do miss it. I spent pretty much all of my 20s and a little bit of my 30s completely immersed in the world of autocross as an instructor for many years, as a co-chair of the entire South Jersey region, and as a competitor. And it's super, super, super fun. Maxell says, thank you. You're certainly welcome. Awesome. Good to go. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com. If you like these kind of things and want to see them continue, I rely on you beautiful people to support me. Giveaways in a week and a day. If you're on the $3 a month Patreon tier, I know you've got an extra $2 a month. You might as well jump up to the Tiny Whoop $5 a month tier. It'll get you into the runnings. If you win, you'll win $50 to $100 worth of stuff. And that'll cover the extra $2 for like many years. So you might as well, if you want Tiny Whoop, if you want a chance to win Tiny Whoop and toothpick parts, the $5 a month tier is the one to do it in. 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop parts are in the $10 a month tier. 5-inch parts are in the $20 a month tier. If you are only interested in winning Tiny Whoop stuff, jump into the $5 a month tier. But if you decide like, hey, I want to donate an extra $1 a month, you can customize the dollar figure. So you can do $6 or $10 or $30 if you've got an extra $1 a day, but still be on the Tiny Whoop tier. That's something that Patreon does allow you to do. You can't go the other way. You can't join the Tiny Whoop tier for $5 a month and pay $4 a month. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, if you're on a tier that you want to be on, but you have an extra couple dollars you want to send my way, that's an amazing thing. I love it. Keep supporting me. I'll keep doing this. BMF Spade FPV with the last comment of the live stream. He says, I tried the Runcam Nano 4 on one of my 65mm builds. I think it's as good as the Runcam Nano 3. It should be better than the Runcam Nano 3 because the lens is so much bigger. Unfortunately, it's a lot heavier than the Runcam Nano 3. But yeah, the Nano 4 is what comes in the new BLV5 2S Newbie Drone Acro B75, and it looked decent. It's hard to tell going through the Newbie Drone OSD setup, but yeah, I've got that camera I've run that camera before and it looks fine. So yeah, be good, friends. Hey Frank, can you send me your thing for camo so I can try it without paying? Love you guys. Bye. I'm not ready. Here's the Walksnail 75 2S late in the day flight footage that I played at the beginning of the live stream. This was actually on the 0803s. Well, no, hold on. I'm going to give you... We played that at the beginning. Here it is on the 1102s. I should have been flying a little bit better here. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Love you. Bye!